YouTube? This is Ripster4 and welcome to a Reddit video. That's not what I usually do. I usually do gameplays and real life wacky stuff. But now I'm following the trend of every other YouTuber right now. I'm doing a Reddit video, and this video is of r/nosleep. Now you might be wondering, what's r/nosleep? Well, it's a horror page on Reddit. Yes. So surprising. Anyway, our first story here. By the way, I'm using... Hang on. I'm using Gears of War as a background. It's a dark image. But the first story here that we are reading is I Bought My Life for $19.99 by Baby You're a Big Blue Whale. Have you ever seen one of those infomercials that sell you household products for a small monthly installment? A self-folding garden hose, a hardcore bathroom scrubber, a miracle hair restoration. You know the type. I bet you can hear the tagline now. All this can be yours for just 3 small payments of $19.99. But do you have any idea of the kinds of things you can buy for just a few small payments from the right infomercial? I'll bet you never considered purchasing a mail-order bride from a TV commercial. Well, guess what? Build-A-Girl TM offers just that service for just a few short payments of $39.95. Need an organ transplant but can't wait years on the waiting list? Harvest Life LLC has got you covered. And all that is great and all, but what I just bought is simply phenomenal. I bought my life for, you guessed it, 3 little payments of $19.99. I could hardly believe my ears when the pitch man started selling me late one night in mid-March. It was around 2 a.m. and I hadn't been able to sleep, tossing, turning, and whatnot, so I decided to get out of bed, put on the TV. There's not really a whole lot of them at the late hour, so I just sort of sat there like a zombie for a little bit until the boring movie I had been vaguely watching glitched out and the enthusiastic voice of a veteran pitchman immediately cut into my speakers and screens. Are you tired of being boring, humdrum existence? Are you disappointed with how things have turned out? Do you wish that you could go back and do it all over again? Well, today I bring life-changing news. I sat up in my chair, a little straighter, and rubbed my eyes because, frankly, I couldn't quite believe what I was hearing. What kind of commercial was this? The TV screen came into sharper focus, then I saw a handsome, muscular man lounging in a swimming pool, some absolutely gorgeous women hanging off his arm. I meant to say literally. I can't read apparently. My eyes are widened a bit as even this obviously staged setup put envy into my bones. I had never been a particularly handsome man, you see. I was a bit overweight, though not that much. My hairline was receding and I hadn't been on a date with a woman since high school. At the age of 38, you could say I was a bit of a disappointment. Which the cards I'd been dealt in life, it was as if Mr. Pitchman had read my mind. If you had been disappointed by the cards your life has dealt you, fear not. Happy Endings, a trading corporation, had the solution to change your hand and stack the deck entirely in your favor. I listened intently, with mounting curiosity as the pitchman, who never actually appeared on camera, explained how Happy Endings copyright had developed a revolutionary system for giving a fresh start to guys like me who just didn't seem to have any luck in life. Though the power of their 4-step process, Happy Endings programs too. Match me with ideal lifestyles. Rebrand my image. Locate a compatible partner. And give me a new life. All just for 3 installments of $19.99. Excuse me, I'm trying to read here, Windows 10. I watch enviously as handsome men with gorgeous wives and happy kids gave their testimonials, explaining how they used to be unhappy just like me. They were too fat, too skinny, ugly, out of shape, awkward, and anxious till schlubs. Ancient schlubs. That's not a word. Until happy endings made them the offer of their lifetime by actually giving them a new life. Now they were handsome, fit, had families, and were the envy of all their friends. This could be you for just $19.99. There was no telephone number I could call. Instead, the pitchman directed me to my computer, where he sent me to a website with the instructions for entering the dark web. I had to go through a lengthy process, filling out health forms, consent to what described as a minor medical procedure, but $60 in Bitcoin, and make my payments that way. I also had to fill out an incredibly detailed questionnaire asking me to describe my ideal height, weight, hair color, eye color, and hairstyle, as well as those same ideal qualities in a female partner. At that point, I'll admit I was a little skeptical, but I was so blown away by the advertisement and so overcome with desire for a new life that I answered everything anyway. Once everything was finally filled out, I hit the green submit button and was told a confirmation email would be sent to me shortly. I never did get to sleep that night. I was too wound up by the possibilities that had been opened up to me. I did eventually get the confirmation email. Happy endings! Set up an appointment with me to travel to their headquarters in Colorado, where I would be immediately evaluated and, if cleared, would be set up another appointment for my procedure. I'm happy to say I passed the medical test, and the procedure was a success. Although, if I'm honest with you, I'll admit that they were a little bit misleading. The procedure was anything but minor. I had to sign so many contracts and non-disclosure agreements that I thought my hand would fall off. But today I stand before you. Well, you know what I mean. As a new man. They added 6 inches to my height. My body has never been more fit, and would you believe it, they actually managed to give me every single one of the physical traits I named as my ideal. I don't even recognize myself. And you should see my wife. She's the most beautiful creature I've ever laid eyes on. Everything about her, from her head to her toes, it's exactly as I specified. I even put that I didn't want a woman who was too smart, because I didn't want to feel inferior to her, and you know they can actually manage that as well. I had to wait a little longer than usual for my wife to be ready, because brain surgeries take longer than usual modifications. Apparently the woman who's now my wife used to be a bit of a brainiac back in the day. Now she's just smart enough to do what I want. She cooks and cleans like a professional. She laughs at all my jokes and just generally makes me feel like a god. I can't wait to get work on making those kids. Sounds like a stereotype if you ask me. I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Happy Endings Corporation for fulfilling their promise to give me a new life. And I wanted to thank the man who volunteered to switch places with me as well. It takes a selfless person to give up all of this to go and live the miserable life I used to have. I just wish Happy Endings had let me meet them person before the procedure. But they said he was unable to be seen. They said that it tends to have a detrimental effect on the experience. Oh, and of course, to anyone reading this, if you are unhappy with the cards you have been dealt with in life, if you are ready to make the change you deserve, feel free to send me a private message, and I'd be happy to put you in contact with Happy Endings Corporation. You can literally change your life for just 3 small payments of $19.99. That kind of had a twist at the end, like... Almost. I thought that too. Like, that wasn't scary, but it had a twist at the end. Well, the next one is called Daddy. Submitted 10 hours ago by Johnny Bug. Yeah, it's called Daddy, question mark. Yes. I'm gonna like look for the most upvoted ones, because those are usually the scary ones. Alright. My son's camera monitor alerted in the middle of the night. I checked and saw my wife and son sitting on the bed. They weren't my wife and son. That's the title, Kevin. The title is My son's camera monitor alerted in the middle of the night. I checked and saw my wife and son sitting on the bed. They weren't my wife and son. Submitted 22 hours ago by Rising Mac. I'm a nurse and I currently work nights. It's a total drag, but I'm hopeful I can go to days soon since some coworkers are planning retirements. Anyway, I was working one night when just after 3 a.m. my son's monitor alerted me to sound and movement. No big deal at all. He's probably coughed loudly or sneezed or something. He's 3 now, so he generally sleeps all night. I was just making sure I read that right. I bring it up on my phone and I see him and my wife sitting on the bed. Again, no big deal. He might have cried out or gotten scared or something. I was about to close the app when I noticed they were acting strange, almost creepy. When I say almost creepy, I mean creepy as balls. They were sitting on the bed together, both of them, just staring at the camera with blank, emotionless stares. The night vision is black and white, so they had white, eerie-looking eyes. They didn't move at all, aside from their visible breathing. They just sat there, staring at the camera. I closed the app and gave my wife a call to make sure everything is okay. I never get to call home on lunch, so in a way, this is kind of a nice to get to call my wife and my family while at work. It rings a couple times before she answers with a very groggy hello. It was like she was dead asleep when I called. She looked wide awake when on the camera. Hey, you guys okay? Huh? Yeah, Buddy, my son's nickname. Came in like 15 minutes ago. Seemed scared, so I said he could sleep with Mama. I'm confused here since I saw them in his room a minute ago. Literally 60 seconds had passed since I closed the app and made the call. Wait, so you guys are in bed? Yeah, I fell back asleep right away. Everything okay? Everybody keeps waking me up. She's kind of annoyed. Hang on a sec. I put her on speaker and bring up the app, hoping I don't see it. When the app loads in, I get the pang of intense nervousness in my stomach that I haven't had in a long time. Since I was a kid in school and realized while I was eating breakfast that paper or something was due that day, and I hadn't done it. My heart leapt into my throat. My wife and son sitting on his bed, looking at the camera. Same emotional stares. Hello? You guys are in the bed, right? Yeah, we're trying to sleep. While I'm looking at his camera and I see you two sitting on his bed. Huh? No, we're in our bed. I know that's what you mean, but I'm looking at his bed and you two are in there. Hang on. She says. She's quiet for a second while she brings up the camera on her phone. I hear this guttural, terrifying gasp, like she had sucked all the air in the room into her lungs, filling them into cap fulfillment. I don't hear this kind of gasp from my wife often, usually only when she's truly afraid, like during a jump scare in a movie, or one time when we turned her back on our son for literally a second and he was down by the mailbox inches from the road. I hear rustling of sheets and the line goes dead. Of course now, I'm absolutely terrified myself, so I immediately called back. It goes to voicemail, so I call again and again with no answer. Finally, after the 4 minutes, she calls me. I tell you, those 4 minutes felt like 40 years. Hey, what's happening? I asked. She's absolutely hysterical and crying. I can't understand a word she says. Stop, slow down for a second, I say. She slows down enough to explain that they are in the car driving to her parents. She looked at the camera, and when she saw what was on it, she got up and grabbed our son and rushed downstairs and out the door. Didn't even close the garage. Don't worry about it, I said. I'll drive by when I get off and close it. We live in a generally safe neighborhood, so I'm not too concerned the door is up. You will not go in there, she says. H word. No, I return. Why are we on the camera, she asks. Is it a recording? I don't know, I returned. Gonna keep watching it and see if there's anything I can tell. Do our code words with Buddy. We have code words because we're nerds. We see too many pod people in imposter movies, so we decided a long time ago to make code words with each other to be able to tell if one of us was an imposter. We have a couple code words, but we also have a 3-sentence story we recite together, each saying a different part alternately of each other. I hear her on the phone saying the things we taught our son. He giggles as he says them. He does every time we practice, since he thinks they're a joke and doesn't have any idea of the real meaning. We're both convinced he's our son. My wife then says our part, and I'm convinced she's her. We made up these words as a complete joke to ourselves. Never once thought in my life or ever imagined we'd actually need them. Unreal. She got to her parents safely, and it was hard to hang up. I told her we'll figure it out in the morning, hopefully. Just a glitch. She said didn't think it was a glitch. When she was running out, she had to run by her son's room and the door was open. There was a little flashing light on the back of the camera that indicates it's connected to the internet. It gives off just enough light. When she ran by, she thought she saw, out of the corner of her eye, a shadowy outline of what could have been an adult sitting on our son's bed. Sends chills down my spine to think about it. I need water. Knowing that they were safe. No. I need water. I'm still reading. Knowing they were safe and out of the house is the only thing that kept me at work that night. It was a long 4 hours, but I kept checking the camera every chance I got. Sure enough, they were still sitting on the bed, staring up at the camera with emotionless gazes. I studied them to see if I could see any pattern from their breathing to their blinking. Their breathing was steady and looked normal. It was their blinking that would tell me if this was just some kind of bizarre time loop freak accident video or not. I intensely stared at my phone and counted for seconds between each blink, telling myself if this is a loop then their blinks should be even and occur at the same time each time. There was no pattern to their blinking. It was erratic and random, just as a person blinking should be. The passing hours are what finally sealed the deal that this is not a weird looped video of some kind. My son's window is visible on the camera, and I could see it on camera that it is getting lighter outside his room. His curtains keep on just enough light to prevent the camera from exiting night vision, but it lets in just enough to be able to tell the sun is rising. I try to figure out what I'm going to do before I leave. We're calling the police come It's not mine, but I talk myself out of it. First of all, what am I supposed to say? Someone is in my house that looks like my wife but isn't? Where's he at? What if they are entities of some kind and the police do go over and kills them or something? I decided to tell a coworker about it. He's a firm believer in paranormal and might have a suggestion. I show him the video and tell him the story. His initial response of, "That's creepy as bleep," doesn't help much. But he says he wants to go and check it out. He says we both should to see if not my wife will try and act like my wife. I tell him absolutely not, and he says we should at least go to the house even if we don't go in. I agree on that since I want to close the garage. I think that's a screw up. We got to my house and walked around the perimeter first. Not sure what we wanted to accomplish by that, but I felt like something we should do. The curtains were all drawn since nobody was there to open them in the morning, so we couldn't see anything. I went to close the garage and suddenly I had this overwhelming urge to go inside and investigate. It was like I just had to know what was going on, so I went in there. We walked through the kitchen towards the foyer where the stairs are. So it's quiet in our house right now, but you can hear a feather drop. That was eerily accurate. My Deadpool poster just fell off the wall. Man, I am startled, Jason. Forget the pin. We stopped at the bottom of the stairs and waited a few seconds. I look at the camera again and they were just sitting there. I've never been so scared in my life. My coworker puts his foot on the first step and I suddenly say, "Stop," loudly. "Forget this, we're out of here," I tell him. "Come on." I started making my way back to the kitchen. We hear a loud creak in the floor from upstairs. It's my son's room. He has a very loud creaking board right in the middle of his floor that's almost impossible not to step on. My wife and are still deciding if we want to fix it. I'm guessing they forgot I want to fix it because it will alert us if he's ever up to no good when he gets older, trying to sneak out or something. "Come on, come on, come on!" I yell as I motion for him to move his A word. We're out of the house in about 2 seconds, out onto the street. I check my phone. Not my son was sitting on the bed, same blank stare. Not my wife was gone. "Holy crap," my coworker says. "That was stupid as of us. Do not tell my wife we went inside. She would be so ungodly if she found out what we just did." I use my garage door opener in my car to close the door. Before we leave, I look at the camera again. Not my wife is back on the bed with not my son, both staring blankly at the camera, blinking every few seconds. That was about 4 days ago now. Not my wife and not my son are still sitting on the bed staring at the camera. They haven't moved a millimeter. We obviously haven't gone back to our house. What do we do? And that concludes that story. I'm going to have my co-director, Kevin, tell me his thoughts. So what'd you think of the story, Kevin? Was it scary?
Definitely pretty creepy, man. I would just sell the whole house. You feel me?
I mean, I wouldn't even walk in. I would have walked away and not walked in.
I don't know why you went in. That's just goofy.
That was, like, actually, like, stupid. Like, yeah, human instincts, like, might tell you, go in, but I'd say, go away. It's like, go into the light. Nah, run from the light.
I wonder what would have happened to the son if he didn't get scared that night and went to their mom's room.
They would have died. I know it. There would have been 4 people on that bed. 2 dead and 2
Biggest
just 2 dead, the real ones, and then just the 2 ghostly ones. Oh, I got chills, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy, cuz.
Like
That's
I got
crazy.
chills from that one.
Alright, what's the next one? What's the
All
next
right,
one?
hang on. We're on a little break real quick because I need to fix my Deadpool poster.
And go get water. I'll take over for now.
All right, you gonna read?
I don't know about that, but
All right,
I'm not gonna be able to find something short enough, but I'll just talk.
you just talk. Make your own story while you're at it, I guess.
So, alright. So basically the story is about it takes place in 2018, right? A newlywed couple just moved into their house. They're hoping to start a family very soon. If not that night. But they couldn't. Because some strange anomalies were happening in the house that day. They had been moved into the house for maybe a week. Cause they just bought it, right? Cause you know they're newlywed couples. They needed a place to stay. And what happened that day? The day that they wanted to start their family. It'll haunt them forever. It was so scary and so frightening that they had to move out of the house. They had to move in towards the city where more people are, because they had been living kind of out in the country-ish, kind of, but like it wasn't really the country, but the neighbors weren't all that close, so they really had no one to talk to about this. It's just so scary what happened this night. The night when they were trying to make their family. They were trying to get some music set up, but the music didn't work. And what happened was there was no Wi-Fi. Story. That's probably the most scariest story ever created, or known to man to this day. But I have another little short story. So one day, this teenager, he was quite well versed in the memes, you know, being an edgy kid. Very few
Hey,
friends.
man.
Oh, I didn't get to finish my second story.
What was your first story?
But the ending, the scary part is no Wi-Fi. Ah! You just got to wait and see when you watch it back.
All right. I just got a sip of water. I sound better than I did before. All right. The next one on the second scariest of this server so far is apparently the one we missed out on earlier. Daddy.
Daddy? Question mark? That one?
Yes. Yeah.
Daddy?
By the way, sorry if you hear the fan. I just have it on so that way my laptop doesn't, explode. As you usually do.
Continue. Alright. I'm gonna mute myself until the story's over.
Alright. Whoops. Just gotta find the perfect placement for the fan before I fully start. Okay, that's not gonna do. All I'm saying is before I start this one, I'm gonna regret this. I'm trying to go to sleep tonight.
No, you won't. Turn off your lights if you don't already have them off.
I've had them off. I had them on when I like saw the last story and like had to hang up Deadpool.
I think you should go into Minecraft and just make it midnight.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like it fits.
Alright, boys. We're switching the background, so we will be right back.
Three-year-old.
Like, you went onto it and they were just closer to the camera.
Imagine his wife is just playing a prank on him.
And
then he walked in the room and starts blasting his pistol, bro. Just kill them both. That would suck. I'm gonna join you. I'm just gonna walk around with you.
I mean, how could it be like that? Because they said nothing. Their mouths weren't moving.
I don't know. Maybe he had...
Their mouths weren't moving.
Like, she had a pre-recorded image at first for the call, and then she took it off when they left. Because she knew that she would call him, or he would call her. So she had to make it even more believable.
I'm glad you're thinking that way, but like at the same time, stupid.
Hey, man.
I'm glad you're thinking.
Yo, mic disconnected.
Hang
I'm back
on.
to hosting for a little bit till he gets his mic connected back. You already know. You already know what it is, what it be, what it do.
I think I've screwed up the entire thing.
Scary stories. Did he screw up the entire stream? I can check.
Is the audio gone?
No.
Alright.
You're gooch.
That's what I was like afraid of. Like if it like disappeared.
Ooh, okay. Some scary stories time, cuz. You already know what it be.
What world
it
do you
do,
want to hop on?
I don't know. I think we should just walk around in the wilderness.
I think
At
I have
midnight.
I have that one map that we were working on before, like
Let's get her
the horror map.
going. Let's get her going.
Can we find the horror map that we worked on and then like that was a good world.
Let's get her going.
You gotta admit, even though you like people worked on it, that you don't like, it was a good map. But this is a little bit of a just grace period for me because like I am terrified.
Yeah. Spooky times. Spooky times.
And I have
It's
Kevin with
indeed
me.
spooky. Hold on.
Okay, this was a different world. This is not the world. Do not join. It was a world I was working on for like I have some like prototype worlds. Just like to test builds.
John?
Don't join. Hang on. Don't be afraid. I remember when this version first came out. I think it's gonna be called New World, cause like I made it on the 1 with a custom super flat.
Alright.
Yeah, it's it. Join.
I'm on my way, cuz. I'm on my way, cuz.
Should I just sit in the asylum?
Oh,
Should I
that
just-
map?
Yeah, like the asylum map we worked on. Like it's wilderness, yeah, but like it's also like in the middle, just an asylum.
On me. I don't know.
Alright, how about this? I have a brilliant idea. I want to turn on share controller. You can walk around as me. As
Can
I
I?
read. Yeah. Like, I'm going to turn on shared controller. You go on Mixer. And just walk around as me. Walk around the... So that way it's not one still image, you know?
I gotta do one thing first.
Right? Go on Mixer.
Add the effects. Okay, hold on. I should put the game on invite only.
Yeah. You're gonna be able to do that once I turn this on.
I gotta go to Mixer. It's taking a long time just to start a new story.
Yeah.
Alright, just go ahead and start.
Alright, I'm gonna start it. And while I'm starting it, Kevin is gonna, you know, set this up. He's gonna play for me and walk around. Alright, so as I said before, the story we're reading is Daddy. Daddy
Question mark.
Yeah, Daddy question mark.
Daddy?
I cradled her close to my chest as I lifted her little frame from the sofa. It was well past midnight and I should have done this long ago. It's time to take her to her bed. She stirs as I raise her into my arms. Her gentle blue eyes part ever so slowly as she takes in the room in this situation. Hey honey, time for bed now. Don't worry, Daddy's got you. I bring her in tight so I don't lose my grip on her. I feel her little body relax in my arms as she waffles between wake and sleep. I move tenderly in sleep and speak as soft as I can so I do not rouse her. As I said... Oh, whoops. As I said, it is well beyond the time to have done this. We've been on that couch watching old movies since 6. When I got home from work, she really liked the classic Disney movies I love. Robin Hood, Winnie the Pooh. And she even shed a little tear during Hercules. I think she liked the same movies as me because these old favorites of mine put me at ease. Therefore, I put her at ease too. It only makes sense. If her dad's relaxed, so is she. I glanced to the living room before setting the stairs. It's loaded with snack wrappers, popcorn, soda cans, juice boxes, beer cans, some plates with some fish fingers still on them. Half-eaten, tartar sauce glazing over from when I plated it hours ago. She was all ready for our little movie night when I got home, dressed in her little PJs, oversized t-shirt of mine, with her little polka dot pants I don't even remember buying. She practically barraged me with requests as soon as I got home from work. Completely caught me off guard, seeing that she's been so quiet indoors these last few days. Daddy, can we watch movies tonight? Daddy, can we have fish sticks tonight? Daddy, I want some soda, please. Her energy was so bombastic. I could tell she must have been looking forward to this for some time. After I recovered from that solid of questions, I promised her we'd have a nice night together. I began making my way upstairs, careful to not wake the little girl. I make it to my room, my foot bedside lamp on, laying her down on my pillow. I haven't seen me. Where was I? As she asked a murmured question, Daddy, can you tell me a bedtime story? Her sudden words startled me a little. I'm sorry, honey. Daddy doesn't have any story books in the house. I pulled the blankets over her and began tucking them around her tightly. Please, Daddy, even if it is just made up. I hold her little cheeks in my hand, hoping my trembling isn't noticeable. I'm sorry, honey. Daddy has some important grown-up work to do. I can't tonight. I lean in, give her a little kiss on her icy forehead. Just try to get some sleep, baby. Okay, could you leave the lights on tonight? She rolls over, snuggles into the blankets. Of course, sweetie. I leave the lamp and the little girl and gently close the door. Stealthily, I make my way to the garage. I take some chains and a pad locked along with my nail gun. Bolt the door shut. Thankfully, the room has no windows, so I don't have to worry about that. I chain the door to the wall and lock it up tight. She can't get out now. I scramble breathlessly in my car. The stove should be filling the house with gas right now. I crank the engine. The candle I left at the door would only buy me a few minutes. The car roars out the driveway. I'm well down the boulevard before I see it. An orange flash behind me. Well, in the horizon, I made it. She can't follow me now. Please don't judge me too harshly. You don't understand. You can't understand. It's been going on for days now, silently watching from every corner of my vision. This might be the only way to escape. I laugh like a madman and I think I got away, practically raving in my car by the time I get onto the driveway. Then we pass the first lamppost. I dare not look in the passenger seat. You see her little figure there, only now it looks like it did before, blackened and muddy. My heart is in my throat. My car is roaring down the freeway. Daddy? Please don't judge me. Why did you do that? You don't understand. Where are we going? You can't understand. Are we going somewhere fun? I turn the wheel towards the guardrail. I don't have a daughter. That is that story.
What? I'm confused.
The person in her house, in his household, was not his child.
Oh.
He does not have a child.
But he said it's been happening for a few days. I'm so confused.
He's been...
This dude seeing stuff?
The next story, which is our last one, is called I'm a Photographer. Yeah, that one last... Before I say anything, start reading. That last one was...
confusing.
Yeah.
But he was, at the beginning, he was talking about how... I'm so confused. I'm so confused.
It just
I don't
leaves you thinking.
understand.
I'm a photographer
What's the hide and
specializing
seek
in
map? I remember now.
No, this is a horror map.
No, man, there's all these hiding spots too.
Yeah, to hide from the killer.
Actually,
I'm a photographer specializing in remote wilderness expeditions. I think this is my last job. Submitted 13 hours ago by N.M. Wrights. This story is right above Baby Your Big Blue
Daddy?
Whale. No, the story's right above, you know, I bought my life and...
about my life. A very not scary story.
Yeah, the one where it was just like, what? Alright. I don't like people much. Never have. My whole life, I've gravitated being alone, outside, in nature. Told my kindergarten teacher I wanted to be an animal tracker. Kind of pictured it as a Steve Irwin thing. Back before Steve Irwin was a thing. Anyway, I'm getting off track. I get paid to do it now. All sorts of property owners want to know what type of animals exist out in the middle of nowhere, usually because they want to build something and want to make sure they're not going to get in trouble for killing a bunch of endangered animals. I'll get dropped somewhere with all the supplies I can carry, trail cameras, sometimes even a small drone if I'm lucky. I can get paid for a job and also get some photos that I can sell to a nature magazine. I get pretty good. It's a pretty good gig. Honestly, it suits me well. This is one weird jump. Way outside my normal area. They demanded absolute secrecy. I have to carry a sat phone they provided that was designed to only contact with them and no other communications gear. I put that thing through the ringer before I agreed to it, but it was a solid piece of gear. Also have to give them a chance to review all the pictures before deciding which ones I could keep. Something about evidence of mineral deposits, whatever. The pay was 5 times what I normally got. They were very clear I couldn't even tell anyone who hired me. Which I guess doesn't matter now. Expect Corp. Who knows if that was real? I couldn't find anything when I googled them, but when you get paid 50% up front in cash, being able to Google a company doesn't matter as much. I worked out my planned route with a lot of input from my client. I'd get flown via a helicopter to a clearing. I'd work my way up a game trail nearby around a lake, leaving some trail cameras. Then I'd work my way north along the river until I reached another clearing when they would drop some additional food for me and take copies of my photos so far. Finally, I'd work my way back south to the original clearing, checking the trail cams on the way, and they would pick me up there. 3 weeks with a big check for the rest of the payment at the end. They were big on planning for emergencies too, so that if anything happened I should get to the closest of the 2 clearings and call for help wherever it happened. So I wasn't to cross the stream to the south of the clearing. I'd be dropped in. Stream, for whatever reason, was a boundary I was not to pass under any circumstances. Whatever, not a huge deal. This company was paying enough to set some weird rules. Travel was a breeze. I got picked up right on schedule. Black car to a private jet to a helicopter pad on the edge of the world. Nothing below me but green as far as the eye could see, carved through with rivers and lakes. Nothing man-made, not a single road I could see anywhere. The pilot looked like an ex-military guy with a lean build, short haircut, and a company's polo. It had a little rocker on the sleeve that said Nick Divinos. I asked him what it meant and he brushed me off. Fine, I don't like small talk either. Getting dropped off here was a sensation I'll never forget. I'm used to being alone in the middle of the woods, but this place unsettled me. I feel like I was being watched from the second my feet hit the ground. Unseeing eyes dotting the dark forest surrounding me. I choked down the unease creeping up my throat and got to work. I was professional and feeling faded quickly enough. I was alone in the woods, the most comfortable place for me to be. No sound but the birds in the trees and leaves crunching under my feet. Started my first hike up, but around the lake, dropped 3 trail cams, worked my way up around. The place buzzed with life. I got a ton of photos, slept each night in my tent, felt great. It was the second night when I realized something was off. I woke up to a start, realizing my fire had gone out. It took me a second to realize what had really woken me. Since that I wasn't alone. I've honed this over time. It was always good to recognize the feeling when a predator has entered your space to figure out if you were lunch or not. It's the lizard brain stuff that eventually gave us modern life. Tries every day to dull. I took out my flashlight and peeked out the tent. I vaguely see a shape about 20 feet from my tent in the moonlight. I opened the tent and flicked the flashlight on and immediately dropped it from my shock. The flashlight rolled off my foot and I lunged for it, grabbing it and aiming it back at the woods that were now empty. That moment, though, where the light hit it, I knew what I had seen. A man dressed all in black robes. I paced around my tent, scanning the woods, but he was nowhere to be seen. How had someone gotten out here in the middle of nowhere? No electricity, no roads. Heck, I had been flown in via helicopter. Who the heck could sneak up on me and then vanish like this? I didn't see any further signs of my nighttime visitor as I circled back for the trail cams and I started up the river. I downloaded the photos I had gotten with them and flipped through them one night quickly so I could keep my battery from running low. A lot of deer, some elk, the back end of what might have been a wolf. Paused on one though. The picture was blurry, but almost looked like a man. At least the top of it did. The bottom half looked like elk. I tried to sharpen the picture, but it didn't work. I decided not to use that camera again in case it was malfunctioning. Still, the picture unsettled me in a way I couldn't quite put a finger on. I picked my way up the river, feeling more uncomfortable the further north I got. The abundant wildlife had faded to nothing. I didn't even see birds here. It seemed like a completely wild, lifeless wilderness, and that scared me. It was the second day when I saw him again. I rounded a bend and saw him at the far boundary of the woods ahead. He was facing me and seemed to wait until he was sure I had seen him before stepping back into the trees. I managed to snap a quick photo at a distance before he vanished. The hike was slow. I took photos to show I was doing something, though I didn't see any signs of life. I still dropped the trail cameras though, just in case. Every night I briefly turned on my computer to look at the blurry photo from the lake, staring at it as if it would make sense. The nights were unsettling. Hang on, just keep scrolling down. The nights were unsettling. I saw strange lights in the sky that didn't match any meteors or northern lights I had ever seen before. I tried not to look at them after realizing one night that I thought had been 15 minutes staring into the heavens. I'd been up to 3 hours of a time. Something was staring back. I don't know why I wrote that, but it feels true. My dreams turned dark. I had nightmares for the first time in years where I was running through the woods, chased only by thunderous sounds of hooves that were everywhere and nowhere. The day before my arrival at the second clearing, I decided to try out the drone to see if I could get any good footage. I sent it up the river around a bend and brought it back, slowing it so I could look at the footage later. I continued to hike up to my planned resting spot when I saw them. On a ridge above me, 3 men, all dressed in identical black robes. I left a photo and they didn't seem to care. They watched me until I was out of sight. That night, I downloaded the drone video and watched it. I was halfway through some beautiful but lifeless footage when I noticed some movement in the woods with some sort of thing I couldn't make sense of. It had a lower body of an elk, but the torso and head of a man, with antlers on top of its head. I watched as it gracefully ran from the noise of the drone and then veered deeper into the woods. There's something wrong with this place. I sat watching the video and realized I had to make a decision. I could turn this over with my employer, say I was sick and needed to get out of here, even if I forfeited the money for the job. Or I could take the new supplies, head south, and the cameras I left, try to figure out what's going on here. Sitting alone in my tent thinking about the mysterious company that brought me to this place, I realized I had to know more about what was happening. I took the memory card I prepared to offhand with the photos I had taken so far and moved the photos of anything unusual to my laptop. I left at dawn, hiking to the clearing where I'd be resupplied. Half an hour before my arrival at the helicopter, word passed overhead. When I made it, he was already on the ground. Swapped out batteries and supplies, handing him the memory card to take back. How's it been going? His voice was gruff and
Gruff.
I know, I accidentally said gruff and unconcerned. His flat effect that of a man who felt he had make some sort of small talk but wasn't really concerned with whether or not I responded. Fine, not much in the way of wildlife here. I responded. I hesitated and my voice caught as I decided to push the issue. Does anyone live up here? He raised an eyebrow at the question and stopped what he was doing to look at me. Why do you ask? I tried perhaps unsuccessfully to adopt an air of nonsense. No reason. Thought I saw someone the other day, but it seemed crazy. Sometimes your eyes play tricks on you when you're alone, you know? Considered this for a moment and nodded. Sure, no one has been up here. They won't survive the winters. You won't either if you don't get a move on. He nodded back towards the river, and an indication that the conversation was over. He grabbed my gear as he got ready to depart. When I was ready, I turned to him. I'm going to get moving. I don't want to lose the light. He held up the memory card I handed him. Is this everything? Bosses are particular about this stuff. Locked eyes and I nodded. He nodded back. Good. Stay safe out there. Walking south felt different. The feeling of unease in the back of my mind grew into a dread to my throat. Couldn't explain it, but I picked up my pace. Even as I collected the trail cameras, I didn't check the photos for some reason. I was terrified of what I would see. My sightings of the mysterious black roadmen increased. Every time I ran into a bend, there would be one ahead of me. Every time I made the mistake of looking back, there would be one in the distance watching me. I hiked with my head down, exhausted myself. Each day before settling into a night of the horrors of my dreams, I saw giant eyes in the woods watching me. I hear a buzzing sound that grew louder until I couldn't think of a move. In one dream, I was tied to a tree surrounded by the black robe individuals, though they just stared at me. They were waiting for something. Still, the nightmares were better than being awake after dark. The night sky blazed with strange lights that I didn't dare to do more than glance at. It felt if I had tumbled off the earth into some alien world so similar to our own, but one where every twig and leaf had been soaked in danger. The night before I was set to leave, I finally looked through the trail cameras. I organized the photos by camera and started clicking through. Progress was easier than I imagined. There was really no life to photograph along the river. What I did see were the strange creatures I glimpsed from the drone footage. There were a herd of them. and I started at the dates. I realized they had grown closer to me as I moved north on the river. They triggered the first camera 3 days after it was set up, but by the time they passed the last camera, they were arriving just hours after me. While I was listening to the sounds of night surrounding me, straining for a noise that would be indicating I was not alone, but hearing nothing. The nights had grown colder. The days started to follow suit. I could see my breath as I arrived at the clearing where this journey began. I sat down and picked at my lunch while waiting for the helicopter to arrive. It didn't. As night started to fall, I started to second-guess myself. Had I better time? Had I made better time on the return trip? Was I a day ahead of schedule? I checked the date on my computer and camera. Had I misunderstood? I made my camp and decided to wait until morning. By noon the next day, there was still no sign of the helicopter, and I powered on the satellite phone they had provided. The helicopter pilot answered. The first ring felt a relief so strong I couldn't help break the ice with a joke. You ever had one of those days where you know you've forgotten to do something but can't figure out what? I laughed as I said it. This pause was agonizing, and this one of my words crumbled. I'm not coming back out, man. I'm sorry. My mind raced and the words tumbled in my... Stop messing around. When will you be here? His voice sounded forlorn. I'm not. They know you didn't give them all the photos. The file's names are numbered. I swore in my breath, they won't let me come back out, but I wanted to be the one to tell you anyway. Good luck. If I were you, I'd off myself before those things got me. He terminated the call and my world felt silent. All I could hear was my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I looked back and forth and realized what I had to do. They needed to come and get me, and I could make them. I broke my camp and headed in one of the directions they had told me not to go, due south. Across the streams that marked the boundary of where I was told in no uncertain terms not to cross, I paused at the far side of the stream, as if I expected a team of armed guards to materialize. Nothing happened, and I continued south. I picked my way south for 2 days, trying to ration my food while looking for some sort of clue as to who or what I should do next. On the second day, I heard the buzzing noise from my nightmares. It only got stronger. 2 nights. As further south I went, the world seemed to vibrate around me. I began hallucinating its volumes increased. I saw dead friends and family standing in the trees. Once I saw myself smiling and pointing in the distance. First I thought the building was a hallucination too. I stepped into the clearing in the middle of nowhere and a squat concrete structure stood before me. I couldn't imagine how it was constructed. There were no roads to speak of, and it would have taken years to fly out all the materials needed to buy a helicopter, not to mention the equipment and workers. I stepped into the clearing and walked towards the building. Leaves under my feet gave way to something hard, and I looked down and realized I was walking on blackened animal bones. As I got closer to the building, the bones gave way to blackened shells that shattered under my feet. A large metal door stood on the front of the building with words in a language I didn't recognize. I reached for the door and opened it, marveling at the lights inside and the warmth from the heat. I stepped and closed the door, surprised again at how the buzzing vibration ceased the second the door closed and locked behind me. The building was 4 rooms. A bunk room with 6 beds, a bathroom, a small kitchen, and a large office room with computers. By the way, I'm not even halfway through the story. I woke and took the shock of my situation. There were a few cans of food in the kitchen. It had running water that tasted fine. I ate up some ravioli over the stove while I considered what to do next. The decision was made for me, though, when I heard the satellite phone ringing from my next room. Picked it up and recognized the voice on the other end of the line as my mysterious client, who I hadn't spoken to since the beginning before my departure. I thought I was very clear you weren't going to venture south. The stream heat began in a measured voice. You disobeyed me. Frown. Apparently, work didn't. I got your attention. You have precisely 30 minutes to pack your items to depart. At that point, I will turn off the electricity to the compound. I advise you to get your way before that happens. Disabling the power that protects that place will create a vacuum, and you know that nature adores them. What should I do then? I spat. You can give up. It'll make everything much easier. I don't like loose ends. His voice dripped with ice. 30 minutes starting now. Don't know why I believed him, but I did. Put my supplies in a bag and sprinted for the door, moving quickly to put some space between myself and the mysterious building behind me. I was moving through the woods when an ear-splitting scream pierced the woods. I don't know what made it, but it was as inhuman a sound as I could have ever heard. I looked at my watch. Exactly 30 minutes had passed. Continued south, barely sleeping as I jumped at every noise I heard. Night was no darker than day now. The sky was a kaleidoscope of lights and movement. I woke one morning to an individual in black robes standing in front of my tent. They removed their hood, and I was faced with a rather normal-looking woman, not frightened, cultist as I imagined in my head. Why did you come here? I stared at her, uncomprehending the question. She repeated it slower. Why did you come here? I nodded and stammered out an answer. It's my job. If I was just photographing some wildlife. She nodded. Pack your equipment now. Follow the ridges south. You'll find an old cabin 10 miles beyond here. It isn't much, but it's dry. Stay there for 2 full days. On the morning of the 3rd day, if you're safe, walk due east. You'll come to a river. We'll have left a boat there. Take it south. It'll be easy going. There's an encampment 3 or 4 days downstream. I nodded, but was no less confused. Who are you? She smiled in a sad sort of way. You have to leave now. I'm sorry they did this to you. You were nothing but bait for them. We'll try to throw it off your trail. I scrambled to break the camp and moved. It was right before dark when I arrived at the cabin. It was so advertised. The winters had been rough on it, but it was dry and removed me from the elements. Yesterday passed with no incident, and as the sun started to set today, I let myself get my hopes up for the first time. Maybe I could get out of here. Maybe I would survive this. Dusk had settled across the area when I saw it, standing and staring at the cabin. It must have been 10 feet tall with the antlers on its head. The man/elk creature stood motionless, watching me. I looked around and saw another, then another. They were surrounding the cabin. That was hours ago. I've been struggling to type this since. They haven't moved once in that time, but they're waiting for something. I can hear the buzzing from my dreams again, and now I realize that what I heard coming from that building was not the same sound. It was an artificial and synthetic. This noise is alive. It feels like it is coming from the earth itself. Something is coming. I took apart the satellite phone the company gave me. I think I've managed to get a weak data connection on here. Might be enough to get this up on a text-only website. Tell people about what happened to me. They moved now, but they're still here. I can see them in the distance. Odd shadows cast off their antlers. I hear something else too, something unbelievably huge. It's here now. I can see it. It is the link.
That it?
Yep.
Dang, he did. He did. I had to move out the crossbow, right?
Well, that was something.
That was actually like the worst one.
Like, scary?
Yeah,
What do you think made
I don't
it
like that.
terrifying?
And the fact that we're in the woods and it's thundering and raining.
Well, dude, I cannot sleep now. I have to play something that makes me in a good mood. Like, honestly, I regret doing this. Well, thank you all so much for watching. If you like
Hope
this
you all
con-
enjoy.
if you like this content, let me know in the comment section below. Maybe next time Kevin could read some actual stories as well.
Alright.
But like I said, my name is
That was
Rich4.
creepy.
I have Kevin here. Me and him are going to
Yeah.
discuss the stories, like, once this video ends, but as always, like, let me know if you like the video. Comment down below if you want to talk about the stories yourself. If you like the video, slap that like button. If you're new around here, why not slap that subscribe button? I'm almost at 100 subs. My name is Rich4, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.